answers that for sure. And I love it. You said time kills deals, momentum fulfills deals. Did I get that right? Did I get that quote right? Say that quote for me one
I
more
think
time.
so. Yeah. I'll
Yeah.
have to check in with the
Yeah.
patent attorneys on momentum
But
moves
no,
deals.
I love it, man. And so it sounds like, you're used to, all kind of deals. I love how you talked about, different sides of the transaction. Somebody may call from different sides. So I'm sure as an operator, there was a moment when things got real, right? Maybe a deal went sideways or a time where you had to pivot fast. Mr. Nathan, you mind sharing one of those stories where you had to pivot fast with the deal?
Every deal. Um, I think every deal involves some sort of immediate pivoting at any time in the transaction. In fact, I have a couple things that need to happen before a deal can close, and it's kind of hard to explain this to the new generation. But once upon a time, a long, long time ago, when I started in this business over 20 years ago.
Welcome to the Real Estate Pros Show, where we interview real estate investing professionals from coast to coast, as well as the service providers that serve the real estate investing industry. Our goal is simple: share what's working now to help you improve and scale your business to the next level and meet the pros that can help you get there. Real Estate Pros is powered by Investor Fuel, America's leader in helping real estate investors and professionals build the business you need to live the life you've always dreamed of. Let's start today's show. Property insurance for real estate investors doesn't have to be difficult, but it does need to be there to protect you when you need it. MyInvestorInsurance.com not only provides insurance at 15 to 30% cheaper than traditional agencies, it's built specifically for real estate investors like you. You can set up an account in about 2 minutes, get quotes on properties, turn on and turn off insurance for your fix and flip or rental properties in around 2 minutes without having to talk to anyone directly, all through our portal. There's no better way or faster way to make sure you've got the coverage you need to protect you, and no more lengthy policies either. Once you're set up, you're billed monthly and prorated by the day for however long your policy is active. It's powered by MSI, the third largest independent MGA, with 1.5 million customers and more than $1 billion in cumulative premiums written. Get set up today in about 2 minutes at myinvestorinsurance.com/fuel.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Real Estate Pros Podcast. I am your host, Quentin Edmonds, Q Edmonds, as you know, I like to go by. And so today we're going to have us a great podcast. I'm excited about the guest that I have on. I'm excited for you to see things from his lens, from his perspective. I'm ready to dig into his mind so you can see what he has going on in his world. I like to tease people up, but I think this time I'm going to let my friend go ahead and tell you what he's doing for himself. And so today I'd like to introduce you guys to Nathan Cohen. Mr. Nathan, how you doing today, sir?
I'm doing quite well, and thank you for having me, Quentin. I'm grateful to be here today. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, listen, I want to dive in. I want you to take people into your world. I want you to tell them what's familiar with your world, what you're dealing with. So how about you take us through what your main focus is these days? And if you don't mind, tell us what markets you're operating in as well.
Sure, absolutely. So my main focus is providing debt for commercial real estate to qualified real estate professionals. I work for a company called LBC Capital, LBC Capital Income Fund. We are a debt fund. We have about $100 million in assets under management. So we lend directly, and if it doesn't kind of fit our box for one reason or another, we also act as a intermediary or it's a fancy word for a commercial mortgage broker. And we then kind of, go outside. We're always very clear ahead of time, right out of the gate, like, yes, this is something our fund can do, or hey, we have to switch hats here and go the broker route, and it may be better for all the parties involved. As far as LBC Capital goes, we operate in major metropolitan markets across the country. We have a great rule here that I think is a very solid rule, which is if you have never heard of the city and you can't immediately point it out on a map, we're probably not going to do the loan there. And So we operate nationwide. Mostly, we are located in Southern California, so the majority of our business is in Southern California. As far as the fund goes, we are substantially less exciting outside of Southern California. It's our home market. We know it well. We're comfortable, taking a little bit more risk here than places we're not familiar with. As far as third party brokerage goes, have calculator, we'll travel. So if it makes sense, we're happy to go there.
Stop living on an island and join the #1 mastermind in America for professional real estate investors. Investor Fuel is a community of hundreds of the nation's top investors working together to build stronger businesses and better lives. In addition to the amazing community of real estate investors acting as a board of advisors for one another, Investor Fuel members have access to 100% funding on purchase and repairs for our members only, a health insurance program, and benefits and discounts that more than pays for the membership of most of our members, meaning it's actually costing you money to not be a member of Investor Fuel. If you're looking to scale your business and build a business that allows you to live the life of your dreams, please visit investorfuel.com today and book a call with our team.
We was talking a little bit before we got on, and I wrote down something that you see as a major opportunity. It's helping brokers with good deals, helping them get the deal across the goal line. And so I know sometimes that's not always easy in this climate. So what is it that keeps you running smoothly? What keeps you going and running at a smooth pace for what you do?
I would say it's the flow of information. Information is key. I think a level of trust and transparency is important. So if you and I are working on a deal, a lot of times there's this kind of fear type of situation that somebody's going to get, circumvented in the transaction. We're happy to sign any sort of fee agreement ahead of time, just so we know what everybody's rules are and what everybody's compensation is going to be. In that way, I don't need to be afraid if you want to pick up the phone and call one side of the transaction, or you don't need to be afraid if I'm going to call the other side of the transaction. And I think the more everyone can see what's going on and not hold any request back out of some place of fear for asking for it, I think that's a big thing, and I think that's a big hindrance that stops deals from getting done. I mean, like, in commercial real estate, a lot of ways is one of the slowest moving enterprises in our country for no apparent reason. No other industry takes days or weeks to send someone a year-to-date P&L. I mean, no one else does that. When Fullwell Company has a professional property manager, all it takes them is a few seconds in Rent Manager to spit off a T12 in Excel for a lender. I mean, that's literally a 30-second thing that can turn into like literally weeks. So that gets frustrating, and time kills deals, momentum moves deals. So that's I think that answers probably that.
No, definitely answers that for sure. And I love it. You said time kills deals, momentum fulfills deals. Did I get that right? Did I get that quite right? Say that quote for me one more
I think
time.
so. Yeah, I'll
Yeah,
have to check in with the patent attorneys on
yeah.
momentum.
But
moves
no,
deals.
I love it, man. And so it sounds like, you're used to, all kind of deals. I love how you talked about, different sides of the transaction. Somebody may call from different sides. So I'm sure as an operator, there was a moment when things got real, right? Maybe a deal went sideways, or a time where you had to pivot fast. Mr. Nathan, you mind sharing one of those stories where you had to pivot fast with the deal?
Every deal. I think every deal involves some sort of immediate pivoting at any time in the transaction. In fact, I have a couple things that need to happen before a deal can close, and it's kind of hard to explain this to the new generation. But once upon a time, a long, long time ago, when I started in this business over 20 years ago,
If you're looking for consistent, high-quality leads, look no further than Investor Machine. Investor Machine isn't just another agency. It's the most sophisticated, data-driven lead generation company on the planet for real estate investors, and serves the role of being not just a lead generator for your business, but a marketing partner that is helping you achieve your goals along the way. Go to investormachine.com to learn more and schedule a call with our team today.
There was no such thing as the cloud. People were still using faxes pretty predominantly. Scans were not the norm. And so I had a number of things. So I'm trying to relate this into megabytes for what needs to happen for a deal to close. But it used to be, these were the things that you needed to have happen for a deal to close. And I'll explain that. And then I'll explain why you have to pivot. Is that you need a stack of papers like at least 4 to 6 inches high. Okay. So if you think you're going to have a closing and you don't have a stack of papers 4 to 6 inches high, it does not matter what the papers are. If you don't have a stack of papers 4 to 6 inches high, under no circumstances will you have a closing. Okay, so now, so I haven't been able to equate that to megabytes. If there's some more computer savvy person that can tell me how many megabytes this is of stuff, then I can help. But you have to have, I know if I go in my file for the deal, if I can't scroll down a long way, there better be like a lot of stuff in there. Like just like forever, for days, scrolling in the file of Adobe's. And then you have to go past the actual closing date. So if you don't have a stack of papers this high and you haven't gone past the actual date, you're not going to have a closing. If you don't have a stack of papers this high and you haven't gone past the actual date and no one's gone out of town, a key person hasn't gone out of town, you're not going to have a closing. And then the final factor that you need to have happen is 2 or more parties involved have to swear or affirm with or without a solemn oath that they will not speak to 1 or more of the other parties involved in the transaction. And once all those things happen, then you can have a closing. And you should know that you're well on your way to closing a commercial real estate transaction. I think that the biggest pivots happen in the due diligence process where people don't realize how a material impact can significantly affect something. There's a transaction I'm working on right now. The people had bought a very nice asset at the time, which was a fair deal. It was recent, within the last couple of years. And the neighboring property, which was almost identical in the point of the due diligence, sold at a fire sale for like half of what they had paid for their place. So the loan proceeds literally went down by probably 30 or 40% a couple weeks away from the closing. So to have to go back to someone and explain to them that we value your property, almost $10 million less than you do, and why is not an easy, not an easy thing. And one of my mentors, some great advice that I can follow sometimes and could always use better to follow, is don't delay in providing bad news. And the sooner that you can provide bad news, the better. The sooner you can do it, the better. Hiding it, brushing it under the rug, burying your head in the sand is not a way to solve a problem in a commercial real estate transaction. I found with lenders, the best thing to do is tell them everything humanly wrong with the deal that you possibly can, and then tell them why it's okay. Just so all the skeletons are out of the closet early. All the deep dark secrets are out there early for everyone to know. So
Absolutely.
And it's gonna happen on every day. Things are gonna happen, and it's a matter of how do you provide the solution to these problems, and how do you assure the lender that their security interest is protected.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I love it, man. That that was a great start. I think this is the first time I heard a fax machine mentioned in a long time in the episode. Like, I think this is the first time I heard a fax machine mentioned, but I love it. I love you how you talk about building trust. I love how you talk about giving the bad news as soon as possible. Somebody that I follow, Brene Brown, she says, clear is kind, unclear is unkind. So the kindest thing you can be is clear to the to your customer and let them know, like, this is what's going on. This is how it is. So I love that, Nathan. I love for you telling that story. That was awesome. So let me ask
Oh,
you
thank
this. Yeah, absolutely. Let me ask you this. What are you most focused on solving or scaling next? Like, what's the next real goal for you, Mr. Nathan?
If you're a new or newer real estate investor looking to launch or grow your real estate investing business, please check out Investor Fuel Club. It's a coaching community, but unlike anything you've ever seen before. And you can actually partner with members of our mastermind from coast to coast on deals right in your market. There's no better opportunity to build a consistent business than to literally partner with pros to help you avoid costly mistakes, avoid the need for capital to do deals, and help you eliminate your fears as you're starting your business. Learn more about Investor Fuel Club at investorfuel.com/club.
I think the next real right now we're ramping up our visibility. So the next goal for me is kind of, we talked about it earlier. It kind of relates to the biggest weakness or opportunity for me is the gathering and collecting, organizing, and presentation of uh, necessary items needed to acquire that stack of papers to close the loan.
Yeah.
Because I mean, look, I get to kind of see both sides of the fence here. One is a lender and one is a intermediary. And like, I'll be darned if I'm going to be a Dropbox broker.
Yeah.
And someone I can't tell you how many times somebody sends me over a Dropbox or a shared file or a Google Drive and expects me to be some sort of forensic accountant, to just dive in there and read every document and piecemeal together, what the loan is going to be. So if you're a loan broker out there and you're just sending lenders out a Dropbox, filled with stuff, and you don't understand the deal, maybe we should talk. I'd be happy to help you to understand the best way to present a deal and how to have conversations. Because if you have that information and you're having trouble getting calls back and getting you people to take you serious, um, there's a way to do that in a clear, concise, professional manner. And we can do that for you, and we can work together, or we can try and help you the best we can.
Yeah.
Um, it's about collaboration. Um, if people don't learn and help each other, the industry won't grow and improve. The
Yeah.
other side of that coin is, and I just started to do some writing today. I'm doing a lot of writing right now, my own improvement. And one of those, my thing that I stopped at short this morning was, what can I do to grow and evolve in this business?
Yeah.
Because I should be growing, and I know better. I know I need to be growing, learning, and evolving every day to learn more and more. So I'm trying to learn, um, a lot more about negotiating, about marketing, and things like that. That's why I'm on here today. To put this is out of the comfort zone for me. So,
Yeah.
you know, thank you for allowing me not to get in my own way today, Quentin. I really appreciate it.
Well, man, it's a pleasure. Your perseverance is shining through, and I'm glad to help. You're doing great. You're a natural. You're doing a good job, and so I love it. I love everything you're saying. I love specifically when you talked about building relationships with people. You talked about building trust, but also building relationships with the right people. And I want to ask you about that because there's a lot of people that's listening, and they're either early in their journey or they're looking to level up. And I think that benefit hearing this, especially from you, when it comes to building relationships. and growing your network? What has made the biggest difference for you?
I don't know, answering my phone, um,
Yeah.
not being what I think candidly has made the biggest difference for me, and is the help that I got from my father when I was very new in this business,
Hmm.
over 20 some years ago. Um, he's a veteran. Was a very he's retired, but he's a very uh, heck of a role model and a veteran in the commercial real estate lending industry. And I remember I started out as just a regular commercial real estate broker, and somebody was mean to me on the phone, Quentin,
Hmm.
and they were just mean to me. And I didn't know I wasn't supposed to be. I didn't know I shouldn't be working with my feelings, and at the time I was working with my feelings, and I did what any young kid in their early 20s would do. I called my dad, who I looked up to in this business, and I called him and I told him what happened. And uh, being a kid that didn't always listen to his parents, teachers, do what you're supposed to, I didn't ever, for the most part, I pretty much did not heed any of the advice that my parents gave me growing up. And thank God that for some reason I took this to heart and I listened to it. And he said, Nathan, if you want to be in this business, you need to be like Teflon. You
Hmm.
cannot let what people say bother you.
Yeah.
And what happened is that I was able to turn that into a learning moment in a series of continued learning moments where I know that if I call up a place that's more uh, like, I love working with guys smarter than me. Um, and it's easy when you're new, and I was certainly guilty of this, where you wanted to try and kind of assert your dominance and your prowess like that's a business thing. And you're arguing with people that know better than you. Instead, if you take the approach of listening and learning, and is and if you're like Teflon and you don't get bothered by that, even though if somebody's talking down on you and explaining something, you take that opportunity to learn things, then you'll know why it's an important that a lender is asking for a certain thing. And you'll become to realize that if you're borrower, or you're the borrower, or you're the borrower's broker, and you're going to someone asking them for money, pretty much if the lender asks for it, you pretty much got to give it to them. And there's a reason that they're asking for it. And
Yeah.
don't be afraid to say, hey, I don't know why, but just so I can explain this to my client, who, by the way, will then argue with you and tell you why you don't need to do it. But
Right.
but I don't know is never a good answer. That if you can, for instance, uh, I'm working on a CMBS deal right now. It's an owner user deal where the tenant signed a long term lease for 15 years. It's a 5-year loan, and there's some reserves in there for tenant improvements and leasing commissions, more commonly known as TILC.
Hmm.
So the borrower says, what's this TILC? And I say, well, those are for a holdback for tenant improvements and future tenant improvements and leasing commissions. He's like, great, we can take that out of there because I'm already in the building for the next 15 years. And I was like,
Yeah.
well, they're actually in there. I know you don't want to hear this, but God forbid your business doesn't work out, you go bankrupt and you move out and the building's empty. They're in there for the next guy.
Hmm.
And it's kind of non-negotiable because of that. And so as much as I'd like to whittle down this number, that's kind of got to stay, because
Yeah.
we don't need them come because I'm here is not a valid rebuttal to that. A valid rebuttal to that is, hey, uh, the market rent for this will be this, the commission will be this, your numbers don't match up, cutting this a more appropriate number that will cover the tenant improvements and leasing commissions is this number based on market data, which you can try and dig up the best you can depending on what you have access to do that with. So but if you don't ask people that stuff to learn, and probably, I mean, just to be blunt, probably look like an idiot.
Yeah.
You can do it, or you can look like an ignorant idiot and argue about something that makes no sense.
Yeah.
So best to kind of ask and learn and listen, or and to be straight up. And finally, like I got to a point. There's like I know nothing about low income housing tax credits,
Uh-huh.
LIHTC deals, or CRA credits. Like I'm totally cool saying I don't know what that is, and I'm not familiar with this part of the business. Um, so I'm going to need a little help here. Where I don't normally, municipal bond financing. I know it's out there. I don't work in that part of the business, and I'm okay saying that, because
Yeah.
when you're new, um, I worked with this lady Pam Smith in Indianapolis when I first started out, and what I learned from her was that use being new is an advantage,
Yeah.
um, because a seasoned guy. So if you're a new real estate broker, you're a new mortgage broker, new commercial mortgage broker, a veteran guy that owns a lot of buildings is gonna like you
Yeah.
because like you are he is really, really important, and you're gonna give that guy service way better than some 20-year-old, 20-year salty veteran is probably gonna give him. And you're gonna be 100% focused on doing that. And
Yeah.
they're probably gonna know that you don't know that, and they don't care that you don't know. They just care that you're going to stay on the phone and you're going to be hitting the phones, getting the job done and in the trenches, and you're going to get smacked around a lot, but you're going to learn a lot too.
Yeah.
So don't,
Yeah.
you know, moral of the story: be like Teflon and use that to not. You, you don't need to know everything, you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
So, uh,
Yeah. No, Nathan, I thank you, man. I thank you. I thank you for sharing the stories about you learning from your dad and even learning from Pam Smith. It's not like these relationships that put you in a great position that you are now. And be like Teflon. I mean, what a great what a great nugget for people to show them that hey, you got to push through, persevere. Don't be so agitated or irritated. Just hey, stick with it. And I love it, man. And so, listen, before we wrap, if someone wanted to reach out to you, connect with you, maybe collaborate with you, what's the best way to reach for them to reach you? Give them your fax number, man. Give me your
Sure.
fax number,
My
Nathan.
fax, fax. I'll tell you a funny story about that real quick. I had I was working on a development project, and the billboard needed to come down. And there's language in the billboard lease that said, with building permits, we'll terminate the lease and you can take down the billboard. And I didn't want to sit on the phone with CBS advertising or Lamar or whatever it was for a million years. So I told the young kid in the office, hey, get on the phone with these people. Here's the lease. It's recorded. Call them up to ask him you need to get on the phone with someone that can terminate a lease. When you get someone, tell them to please hold for the vice president of your company. Um, and so after a while, I'm like, hey, did you ever get what's up? Did you ever get these people on the phone? He goes, I keep calling and asking for this lady, and they just hang up on me. And I'm like, lady? Because I looked at the lease. I don't recall any lady. So I said, what lady are you asking for? And he said, this one right here on the top, via facsimile.
Oh my goodness, that's hilarious. Via facsimile.
Yeah, via facsimile.
That's hilarious, man. Great
Yeah. No one
storytelling,
could
Nathan.
find her. Yeah,
Nobody
no
could
one could
find her,
find her.
and they
But
just
if you
hung
want
up
to
the phone.
find if you want to
Yeah.
find me, I can be reached at Nathan Nathan at lbccapital.com. That's Nathan at lbccapital.com, or directly here on my old school desk phone that I still answer at
Absolutely.
323-879-7297.
I love it. Well, there you are, people. You got the landline, you got the email, you got the fax number. Reach out to them. Man, Nathan, I thank you, man. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your stories. Incredible stories, man. We need more people like you just doing it the right way. So thanks for being here, man.
Thank you so much for having me. It was a real honor.
Absolutely. And for those tuning in, if you got value from this, please make sure you subscribe. You do not want to miss out on more conversations that's coming, just like I had today with Mr. Nathan Cohen. So again, thank you, Nathan. And to the rest of you, I'll see you on the next time.
Thanks so much. Goodbye.
Thanks for joining us for today's Real Estate Pros Show. You can learn more about the amazing benefits of the Investor Fuel Mastermind community, including surrounding yourself with hundreds of other rock stars, 100% financing for your deals, and members-only discounts from vendors you're likely already using that, as a member of Investor Fuel, will save you more than the cost of your membership. Visit investorfuel.com to learn more. If you're interested in joining us as a guest of this show, please visit investorfuel.com/pros to apply. You can also check the show notes for access to free resources, how to get access to world-class lead generation, and much more. Don't forget to subscribe so you never miss another episode. Have a great day. We'll see you on the next show.